Okay, there we go. Let's try that again. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Decoding Your Superpowers. I'm Teresa Lisum, and I have a couple of guests with me today who are going to jump in and give their thoughts as well. I have Linda,
Linda Karchner.
we have Jane Liebecker, and Lucille Rock, and we are all coaches who use the Gallup Strengths Assessment as our starting point, as our simple tool. And
Mhm.
we've been jumping on every week to explore and dive deeper into any particular report that we want to go through. And we'd love to go through yours if you want to send it over to us. We'd love, love, love going and digging into people's superpowers or their strengths. So I am going to pull that up on my screen. And if one of you ladies wants to give a real quick overview of this whole strengths concept, I would love that. And I'm sure our viewers would love that as well.
Absolutely. Jane, you can fill in anything that you want to.
Okay.
Um, so the Clifton Strengths Assessment comes to us through Gallup. They're a huge research polling company, and it's an online assessment that's actually 200 questions now. It used to be
Mm.
177.
Mhm.
And it's a timed assessment, but it gives you answers, or I mean questions on a continuum, and you answer which one is the most like you. And the results are given to you immediately because they have an amazing computer program that does that for you, and you end up with this as your first page of your report, and it lists the 34 strengths, or as CliftonStrengths would call it, talent themes that all of us have in our own unique order. So everybody has the same strengths that you see listed here, but everybody's are in their own special order from 1 to 34. So what they will give you is, and we recommend getting the full 34 report, not just the top five,
Mhm.
because the top five, although if you are involved in a company or a college that does Clifton Strengths, they usually just do the top five. It is just the very tippy top of the
Mhm.
iceberg of who you are and what makes you so special. And your zone of genius, as Teresa calls it, is that top 10. And also your bottom strengths, knowing them can be very liberating for you, so you know what you don't have to be, how you're not wired, what de-energizes you, and it kind of gives you that sigh of relief, like, oh, I don't have to be that way. I can be what's in my top 10. So little bit of an overview of how you take that test online. And we do, at the time of this recording, we do have access to getting a little bit of a discount if you're interested in taking that test. And
Mhm.
at this time, it's about $60 plus taxes,
Mhm. Yeah.
depending on where you're located.
Thank you. Yeah, so it is an investment in yourself, but the results is so impactful and empowering. It's definitely worth the investment. It's a minimal investment to learn everything that you learn from this strength report. Um, and thank you again, Linda.
You
So
get
we,
25 pages in the
yeah,
Yeah,
report.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And it's a lot of good information.
Yeah, Gallup is very thorough in what they give you
Mm.
based on your lineup. And we all have a unique lineup. And forgive me if I'm repeating this, but there is nobody else on the planet like you with this exact lineup of strengths. So
Mm.
every person on this planet is infinitely unique, as we like to say. And that gave me a real different perspective about myself, who I used to think was not worthy, was not as good as everybody else. But once I learned that, oh, yeah, no, I'm the only person like this. I'm the only person that can do and give the world what I can give. It was really, really empowering for me personally. And I don't know about you ladies, but
Absolutely.
I've seen lots of people be really emotionally impacted when they've seen their lineup and had it explained to them. So the top 10, like I said, it's the zone of genius, in my opinion. That's where we're the most energized, the most productive, the most creative, the most authentic. And so that's where we focus. There is some, 11, 12, 13. So we use some of those strengths as well, not quite as often as the top 10. And everything, as Linda mentioned, at the bottom, they are just de-energizing for us. They're just not where we want to be. That we're not our authentic self there. So we want to keep out of these bottom 5 as much as possible and stay up in the top 10. Anything in the middle, it's just neutral energy. We can, take them or leave them. I really don't even look at mine. I don't even know where any of my strengths are in this midsection.
Yeah, I
So,
always have to look if
yeah,
someone
it's
asks
just like,
me like where, XYZ strength is. I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. So we just don't even look at these. Now,
Hmm.
some people I've been asked, like, well, what are the good strengths? What are the ones that are the best? Like, there is no such thing.
Right.
Any of these strengths in the middle, we can do with anything from our top 10 in different combinations.
Hmm.
So there are no strengths that are better than other strengths.
Hmm.
They're just, something that's very easy for us, something very organic that we don't realize our strengths for ourselves. So to have somebody point them out and shine a light on them is allowing ourselves to see ourselves from a different perspective. And again, to me, that's the empowering part as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at this person's. You can see it's kind of color coded here with little vertical lines to the left of each strength, and they match up with what's in this gray box over here. So Clifton has determined that each one of these strengths, these 34 strengths, fit into one of these 4 categories, or these 4 domains, as we like to call them, or themes. They all mean the exact same thing. So
Mhm.
basically, all we do to begin looking at a report is we count up where these strengths lie. And then we decide, or then we look to see which one has the most strengths in that particular category. So we just count up, see, context is green, so that's a strategic thinking strength. So you just count up all the green, and those are considered strategic thinking. Those are all about in the head, thinking. Um, Productivity is taking place here,
Right.
bringing in information.
And this is a lot of times this is where someone's creativity comes from, is
Mhm.
from their strategic thinking strengths or themes.
Right.
Mhm.
The purple is executing, and that is a person who is a doer, an action taker. Those strengths cause this person to just go, run with the ball, and keep on going. They're very physically active in terms of being productive.
Mhm. Mhm.
The blue is a relationship building. So anything with a blue by it falls into the relationship category. And it's just like it says, as a relationship builder, you love to connect with people. People energize you. Having people part of everything that you do is really important. And that's where you are your best when you're working with others. And then there are no yellow here in the top 10, but they show up in the bottom 5.
For sure. Yeah, I noticed that.
So that is very, very interesting.
Mhm.
But this person has no influencing strengths in their top 10. Now,
Yeah.
does that mean they don't influence people? No, that's not what that means. That just means that's not what's energizing to them. They don't care about influencing others. They don't care about moving people from point A to point B. It just does nothing for them.
Yeah.
So that's anything you want to add, ladies?
No, yeah, that's good.
Okay.
I just, just with the counting, this person is, yes, they have 4 strategic thinking strengths in their top 10. And so CliftonStrengths recognized that, said that they lead with strategic thinking. But if they didn't have their full report, I think it would have really neglected how powerful executing and relationship building is for this person,
Correct.
for this
Correct.
person, because there's 3 blue and 3 purple that goes along with the 4 strategic thinking. And I just feel like they would have had a big chunk of their puzzle that was missing if they didn't have all of that knowledge about how important it is to them to connect with the right people and to get things done the right way.
Good. That's a good point. Thank you. So this person has 4 strategic thinking strengths. 3 of any strengths in a domain means that's a dominant, a strong domain. It's very important to them. If you have beyond 3, such as 4, it's really important. If it's 5, it's really important. So the importance of that domain increases by how many strengths fall into that category. So this person has 4 strategic thinking, and as Linda said, 3 relationship building strengths and 3 executing strengths. Now, so they have like an equal balance of needing to connect and needing to do. Now, if this person was in front of us, we would ask which one tends to be a little bit stronger, a little bit more prominent than the other one. Some people will know right off the bat.
Yeah.
And some people won't because they just use these particular strengths in the moment, in the situation. So they have the ability to pull out these strengths and adapt them to whatever is going on in front of them in
I think
terms of
this
the
is where I
relationship.
kind of pull in that 11, 12, 13 a lot of
Good
times
point.
when there's, sort of a tie. And looking at this person's report, there's 11, 12, 13 are relationship building.
That's a really
So
good point.
my guess would be that relationship building might kind of tip the scale for them. Like they might, it's very strongly important for them to get things done the right way. But if a relationship, part of getting things done the right way for them is being in relationship,
Thank you.
connecting to the right people. And that's how they feel the most productive.
Thank you.
And probably want to think, create, and or learn with other people.
Yeah.
So
They
this
get more done
person,
when they work with other people.
yeah. And this person loves to do everything in a way that honors their desire to think, learn, and or create. And we're going to say, and connect with the right people and get things done. So they kind of have a little bit of everything going there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the right people are the right people for them.
Right.
They define who that is. It doesn't matter what we think. It's what this particular person thinks as to who the correct or the right people for them is. So that's an important piece of information to know about ourselves, is who are the right people for us. Because many of us know when we're not around the right people.
Yeah.
The toxic people that we know are not good for us. So we kind of have an awareness around that, but it's really important to this particular person that they surround themselves with the right people. So thank you for that insight about the 11, 12, and 13. I like that. So let's just look at number 1 and number 5. Those are really important strengths. Number 1 has the highest energy, and then they kind of decrease in energy as you go down the list. So number 1, of course, is the highest energy and responsibility at number 10. It's still important, but it's not going to be quite as energizing as that number 1, which is context.
I
which
would
is
also say, number one comes so easy to them that they
Yeah.
just think that that's the way, that's just
Everybody is.
everybody
Everybody
thinks.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This
I
is
think
really
that's how my connectedness is at number two. Like I just don't grasp the importance of it.
Mhm.
But yet when I think about what it means, and this person has it at 6, it's like, yep, that is definitely me. So yeah, it's exactly like you said, Jane. Like when they're up high like that, it's just so natural to
It's
you.
so natural.
Mhm.
Right. And we don't think it's anything special,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah.
is. Like you said, other people don't think like this. And that's a really good awareness to have. So if we're getting agitated from other people because
Mhm.
they don't understand the way we think, well, that's because they don't.
Right.
They have their own way of viewing the
Yeah.
world.
They don't
So,
and they can't.
and they can't. And so we need to give them grace and,
Mhm.
understanding that we think like this, you think like this, and that's okay. Let's try to really communicate how each of us thinks. So it's all about communication.
Mhm.
And knowing your strengths gives you a way to communicate and talk about the way you think. So
That's
that
one of
is,
my favorite things about this.
yes,
Yeah.
it's another one of the benefits of knowing these. So a little bit about context is a person who is high in context really uses the past
Mhm.
to make decisions about today.
Mhm. Mhm.
Now, does that mean they're all into history and everything? Possibly,
Possibly
maybe not.
sometimes.
I know somebody who has high context and he is not into history. So
I know
it
someone
shows,
with high context who's
Me
a
too.
history teacher.
right. So it shows up differently for every single person.
Yes.
So this person, just might enjoy things about the past. Like that just gives them a way to orient themselves in the now. So I have trouble understanding a person of high context
Yeah.
because I don't have it high.
Oh,
But
for me
what's your
too.
thoughts on context, ladies?
Well, for me, context is like, okay, how did this work in the past?
Do you have
I'm
an
doing
eye,
a
Jane?
project. How did that work for it's not in my top 10,
Okay.
but I'm thinking it should be if I
Might be if
retake
you
the
retook
test.
it.
Yeah, it might be if I retook it. Um,
Mm.
and then like you were talking about their input. Wow, the combination of context and input.
Yeah.
It's like
Would be
it
would be
saved
really,
every project they ever did.
yeah. My sister has context high, and she is a manager, like a personnel manager at Children's Hospital in Columbus, Ohio, and she works for the behavioral health department. So she's over like patient access people. But everybody in her department comes to her, she's been there a long time, to ask, how did this work before? Or
Mm.
she is able to say to them, we tried this before and this is what happened. It didn't work, it did work,
Mm.
whatever. So she, partly because she has longevity there,
Mm-hmm.
but also because her context is high. So she absorbs all of that. She remembers that. It's important to her. She's like the go-to person for how did we do it before?
I
So it's
love I
yeah,
yeah, thank you for that because that helps me understand this strength more, this
yeah,
more. So she could see what has been tried
yes.
and then make an evaluation. Like you said, did it work?
Hmm.
No. All right, then we got to do something different.
Yeah.
Did it work? Yes. Did parts of it work? Yes. So she can sift through and
Yeah.
bring forward to the now what could be beneficial for what they're doing, in the present moment. So yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
That's been really helpful for me. And then for input,
Mhm.
like you said, gathering of information. It
Mhm.
sounds like, is it your
Yeah,
sister-in-law?
my sister.
Sister? It sounds like she has input high too.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to check her thing, her report. And just so you know, we've never talked about this before. Gallup has an app that you can download for free. from whatever your Play Store is or whatever, and it's called
Mhm.
Gallup Access. And you can invite people to share their strengths reports with you. And so it's really fun to be able to have that on your phone and to be able to be like, oh yeah, there she is. This is what she or he or whoever has or doesn't have.
And get some clarity on why
Yeah.
they're doing what they're doing. Like that
She has
again.
learner at number 10. Um, and her input is 23, but I think
Oh,
it's the
okay.
learner
Hmm.
that she has a ranger at number 5. It's always fascinating to me,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and
And
consistency at number 6. So she
hmm.
she knows how the rules, and it's
Hmm.
important to have rules that work across the board. So yeah, I'd say her learner probably plays a part in that of remembering and processing and a ranger too. So
Hmm. Yeah, thank you for checking.
yeah.
Yeah, input at number 5. We said that number 5 is a pretty important strength. I
Mm-hmm.
like to refer to it and think of it as a default strength, where
Mm-hmm.
you just kind of automatically go there and use that strength. For whatever reason, it's just a comfortable strength there. I don't know what do
Balances
you
you out.
balance. Yeah.
Yeah, it's to me, it's like the fulcrum on a teeter-totter. If
Hmm.
you were trying to balance out your top 10, your zone of genius by yourself, where would you go on a teeter-totter or a seesaw, whatever you call it? You'd go to the middle, to the fulcrum. You wouldn't go to one end or the other. So if you're feeling like you just kind of need some balance and need to reset, go to your default, your number 5 strength
Hmm.
is the one for you. And mine
Yeah.
is input also, my number 5.
Yeah, thank you. So we both of us know a lot about input. Do
Yeah.
you have input? Hi, Jane.
Number 6.
Yeah,
Yay.
we all know input. As I
Yes,
said, I need
quite
to
well.
fix or organize my desk because us input people are always gathering stuff. And it's could be
Right.
stuff, it could be people. In this particular case, this person might collect people
Mm-hmm.
that they want in their lives. So,
Relationships, right?
archiving, collecting, it doesn't have to be physical stuff. It could be information that
Right.
you're just collecting and putting aside for future use, future reference. So it just does seem to be a continual process and practice of trying to organize that information that we're bringing in or those people that um, any particular one. I know we're running out of time
Yeah.
that you ladies want to look at and talk about here.
They're all so good.
They
Yeah.
are. I mean, no, it's so when you see somebody's report, it's like, oh my God, this person is awesome.
Yeah.
Because
They're
everybody is.
because
Yeah.
everybody
Because
is,
everybody is.
but when you see it from a third party objective
Yeah.
perspective, it's like, whoa. And then when you're talking to the person in
Mm-hmm.
person about their strengths and getting confirmation that yes, this is true for them,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll just be talking like you could just see context raise up. You can see
Mm-hmm.
developer talking. You could see their input coming out. So
Yeah.
when you know somebody's strengths, you could see them popping up the way the person talks and how
Yeah.
they refer to, how they see their life. So it's a awesome, beautiful process, the way they all weave together. So even
Right.
though we talk about them individually, they
Mm-hmm.
typically work together in a
Always. Yeah.
partnership or like a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful tapestry.
I
Yeah.
was looking at number 7 and number 8 so close together, developer and restorative. Developer being a
Mm-hmm.
person who sees small changes, small improvements in people and just like is plotting it and growing them,
Mhm.
and restorative about fixing problems. And I think that the two of them together, wow.
Yeah. Really could be a solution oriented,
Yeah,
encourage.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
You had
Somebody
mentioned,
I'd want on
Teresa.
my team.
Yeah, right.
And
You had
even,
mentioned, Teresa, about maybe, some input or whatever for this person, like for kind of future direction, or
yeah,
say
yeah.
that again.
So if this person is in front of me or in front of any of us, and they were a young person and they were trying to maybe figure out a direction in their life
Mhm.
based on what we're seeing right here, what would your suggestion be, or what would your what I'm just going to jump real quick that in my opinion, this person needs to have people involved big time.
Mhm.
They're
Mhm.
not going to be able to sit in a cubicle
Mhm.
and work on their own and expect to
Right.
get things done.
Mhm.
So they may be very happy in a job like that.
Mhm.
I think a management type of job where she's
Oh,
managing, she or he
yes,
are managing
yes.
people, maybe
Yeah,
even
that
HR, you
yeah,
know?
that developer and
Yeah.
restorative and responsibility and empathy, I think would all be very valuable
Hmm.
in an HR kind of position. But also, you know, we can't forget that their primary dominant domain is strategic thinking. So definitely they're going to want to have opportunities to study. I would say this person probably wants to go to college. If they like that or have some opportunity for further education because they love to absorb information,
Mhm.
learner, they like to archive and organize and share that information with other people, which is input, intellection. They like to think deeply about,
Mhm.
pondering things and thinking about the past and how it impacts the present. So, those strategic thinking strengths need to definitely be valued for this person, that they're
Mhm.
probably a lifelong learner
For
in
sure.
some aspect.
So they will need to feed
Yeah.
that those strengths, those strategic thinking strengths,
Hmm.
feed it with that learning
Yeah.
or that downtime to give themselves time to learn. So
Hmm.
whatever career this person follows, I would think they would need the opportunities to learn more, to get more
Right.
training, to find something that's interesting that they can, like I said, teach or share with somebody else.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
it's definitely has to be a people dominated
Yeah. Yeah,
path,
like Jane said,
position,
like
whatever. Yeah.
HR, even a teacher, I could see this person, depending on where their area of passion is, if they like little kids, if they, maybe would want to be a professor, if they
A
like young
professor.
adults. What's that,
Yeah.
Jane? What'd you say,
Yeah, a
Jane?
professor. I was thinking
Yeah,
the same thing.
yeah. Yeah, because that you would definitely have opportunities for developing and all of that with young adults in a college setting.
Hmm. Yeah. So it's just I think this is so powerful for younger people to
Hmm.
know more about themselves. And this is a
Right.
tool that help them see themselves and know more about themselves so they can make some decisions and
Right.
not, just follow a path because somebody suggested it or they can't think of anything else or just dropped it in
Mhm.
their lap. They may not be happy there.
Right.
Because again, if they're by themselves for 8 hours a day,
Hmm.
maybe doing some research, that might be fun for them
Right.
if they were at a research position,
Hmm.
but they still need interaction. And I
Hmm.
just sometimes wonder if people are in jobs or careers that they're not happy with because they've pigeonholed themselves into a place that their strengths are not being fed. They're not
Yeah.
using their strengths. Therefore, they're not happy. Their energy is low. And, so sometimes I wonder about that when people complain about where they're at in life, their
Yeah. They're
jobs or
right.
careers.
Yeah, they're not living in their zone of genius in their
Mhm.
jobs.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And that's where we all want to be. We want to be in our zone of genius as much and as often as possible.
Mhm.
And we want to stay out of these bottom ones. And
Right.
like you said at the beginning, let them go. We don't have to worry about them.
Mhm.
This person doesn't have to worry about winning others over. Like they're a people person, but they don't
Mhm.
have to win everybody over. Like
Right.
that's just something that they don't have to spend energy on.
Right.
So, any other things before we wrap it up? This time always goes so
It
fast.
does. And there's so much more I could say, but
Any
really,
final thoughts?
yeah, just this person has so much going for them. Definitely someone who connects and meets people where they're at,
Hmm.
and thinks deeply and a lot about a lot of things, and has just that little bit of flavor of the executing to actually get some things done.
Oh, yeah. Where is that at? Executing. Where am I
And
looking
it's
here?
got belief and
Oh,
restorative
yeah. Then we didn't even
ability.
touch upon those, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Those
The
are,
responsibility will help this person
yeah,
get things
there,
done.
there's some very powerful
Hmm.
powerful strengths here. And I'm sorry we didn't get to all of them, but we gave you a little taste
Yeah.
of the power of understanding and knowing your strengths, your
Mhm.
superpowers. And it really enhances it when you can talk to somebody such as ourselves, us ladies here, that can help explain things to you. Not every label that Gallup has attached to a strength is a good descriptor of that strength. You mentioned one. Which one was it? Oh, when you mentioned consistency with your
Yeah, my
sister,
sister,
like
right?
that
Yeah,
doesn't mean if you don't have it high, you're not consistent.
right,
So it's a
right.
little bit of a mislabel. So you can read the labels. I mean, Gallup does a really good job of explaining things,
Yeah.
but to have another person to really help you apply and embrace your strengths is really, really helpful.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
of course, we would love to do that for anybody
Yep.
because we love it.
Yep.
This really energizes us as well. So thank you so much, ladies, for being here. Thank you so much, everybody who's listening, watching. We appreciate you. We hope that this has given you some insights into the power of knowing your own personal superpowers.
Yeah.
Feel free to reach out to any of us. You can find us on social media. If you have a report that you want to dust off and send over to us, we'd love to look at it and dig in and explore. And last episode, we had the person with us whose report we were going over. That was so much fun to
Yeah.
get
That was
actual
fun.
real-time feedback. So if that's something you'd love to do, please connect with us. All right, my friends, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks, Linda.
bye-bye.
Thanks, Teresa.